Unfortunately, we kind of have to talk about the worst books I read this year. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessie, and today we are doing the good old classic worst books I've read for the year. I kind of put together a list of 10 books that I believe were the worst books I read this year. Before we get into this, you are entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion. The point of this video was to not bash your favorite or speak ill about an author or a book in general. I'm just letting you know why I rated these books so low, and I think you'll be shocked by some of these books, to be honest. I have my trusty little notebook that my friend Gwen gave me, and you'll be shocked by this ranking. So I have 4 1-star books this year. That's it. And then the rest are 2 stars. So, you know, take that information with what you will, but I'm excited to talk about these. So we're gonna go from least worst to number 1 worst. So yeah. Most of these books I don't own anymore because I did not like them. So you'll probably see some pictures pop up to my left, but yeah, let's just go ahead and jump into it. The first book I want to talk about is The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley's. This book was not bad at all. It's just I don't like this author's writing style. This is the second book I've read by this author. I read The Guest List and then obviously The Paris Apartment, and this, I don't know what it is. It's the multiple point of view where it's just a lot of people that you're following. I didn't really feel that atmospheric vibe that a lot of people were enjoying. I didn't really get a lot of like Paris vibes either. I'm not going to talk a lot about this book because I did do a whole episode with Gwen on her podcast called Talk Bookish to Me. We did a whole 12 days of Christmas episodes and giveaways. So make sure you go follow her podcast, all the good things, because I will go into more details about that one. The next book I want to talk about, which I'm very sad to put this on the list. It was a 2-star book, but it was also a birthday gift, and I feel so bad. I'm so sad to talk about this one, but it was kind of a letdown. But it is A Familiar Stranger by A.R. Torre. I read The Good Lie by this author. It was actually one of my Sleep When I'm Dead book club picks for the month of May with Ashley from Ashley's Little Library, and I really enjoyed that book, and so I was really excited to read about this one. The premise sounded very interesting. However, the execution of this book was just not very good. I felt like DNFing it quite a few times, but I kept pushing through because it's such a short book. It's under 300 pages. And I just was not a vibe. I could care less about any of the characters, to be honest. And I just, yeah, unfortunately, it made the list. The next one I want to talk about, I actually do still own. It is The Atonement by Kirsten Modglin, and this is book 3 in the whole Arrangement series, which is one of my favorite series that I've recently read. And unfortunately, this was the conclusion of the trilogy, and it was just not it. It was very repetitive, kind of like a cat and mouse game, but like not in the best way. I just was not a fan. I loved the first book and I loved the second book, but for some reason book 3 was just not it for me. I am glad the series is over because I felt like this was kind of dragged out a little bit too much, even though book 2 left on a cliffhanger. I won't give you details about book 3, but book 1 is basically about a married couple who basically have an arrangement where they can see other people, and then it kind of turns deadly from there. So unfortunately, I'm glad the series is over. It's still one of my favorite series to recommend. However, I would honestly just leave on a cliffhanger and not read book 3, to be honest. But I gave it 2 stars. The next one that I want to talk about, I've actually come to the conclusion that I am giving up on this author. I have read 2 or 3 other books by this author, and I don't know why I keep giving this person a shot. But unfortunately, My Darling Husband by Kimberly Bell is just not it. I don't know what it is about this author's writing style, but we just never click. I think she has some of the greatest ideas for stories, but again, the execution was just not it. I thought this one would be really interesting with a whole like home invasion type of story. But honestly, even when things were happening, I was like, I don't care. Unfortunately, I know there are some people that love Kimberly Bell, which is great. I don't think I'm going to pick up anything else by this author until I hear like a massive amount of good reviews, because I'm tired of putting my time and energy into this one. The next one that I want to talk about, y'all are going to come for me in the comments, and I am just so sorry, but this one, I honestly thought about rating it higher on my worst list. And honestly, I also contemplated re-rating it from a 2-star to a 1-star, but I just could not stand this romance. But it is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood, and I know you guys are screaming at me, but again, I am very new to the romance genre. I feel like I've really welcomed it, so I'm still trying to figure out what I like and what I don't like, but this is not what I like, and I don't want to continue in the series or anything. This reminded me of fake dating with Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory. If you know that show, you know exactly who I'm talking about. You mean to tell me that this socially awkward scientist just becomes Christian freaking Grey out of freaking nowhere? Absolutely not. That's not how things work. I mean, it can happen, but I just did not feel the chemistry between the two. I felt like the reasoning for the fake dating was so dumb to begin with, and I'm sorry. I know some people love this series, but it just was not good. I'm so sorry. I feel so bad for saying that. So I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings, because I know this is going to probably be on people's top favorites of the year, and I'm sorry. Moving on. The next one I want to talk about is a romance book that I was so excited to read, and I was talking about it before reading it, and a lot of other people were talking about me reading it and wanting to hear my thoughts. And I don't think this is a bad story. I think it was marketed incorrectly. The book I'm talking about is The Fixer-Upper by Lauren Forsyth, I think is how you say her last name. I'm just going to read the synopsis of this one. This was sadly a big disappointment. I thought I was getting one story based on the synopsis, and it was completely different and not what I signed up for. So if you do want to read this one, do not read the synopsis, because I feel like it's very misleading. It's not it. I feel like that's the catchphrase for this video. It was just simply not it. And I was very sad because I kind of went into this book with high expectations, but again, it was marketed weird. Yeah, unfortunately, I did not like this one at all. And I felt like the romance was dumb. The next one really pains me, because I felt like this day would never come when I put this author on my worst reads of the year. But coming in at number 4 is our first 1-star read. It is The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. I know. This whole video, I feel like I'm just like downing on a lot of people's favorites. But let me just tell you, I love Riley Sager. I love all of his books, but this one is a whopping 1-star read. I did a whole podcast episode with Gwen in the summer when this book first came out. I will link that episode down below so you can go check it out. But this one, I was just having a really hard time connecting with the character, because the audiobook narrator made this person sound super old than what they really were in the story. The plot twist is something, like, if you know my reading taste, you know that the plot twist is not something I like at all in my reading. At all. And I'm not going to tell you what the plot twist is, because it definitely spoils it for like a good majority of the book. But unfortunately, this one, it just really pains me to put this on the list. It pains me to talk about it on the podcast. But yeah, it's my highest rated 1-star book. So all the other ones are getting worse. All right, we are coming in my top three people. So number 3 is The Woods Are Always Watching by Stephanie Perkins, 1-star read. This one, I kind of knew going into this one that I wasn't going to like it, but I heard a few people say they did like it. So I was going in there trying to go in with an open mind, but I kind of knew from the beginning I wasn't going to like this one. First of all, it's YA. I don't like YA, especially YA thrillers and horrors. Like, I just, no. But this one, it was mostly about the dialogue. Like, I know sometimes there are teenagers or young adults that talk like that, but I could not stand the dialogue. It really ruined the whole enjoyment journey of the story for me. And I just feel like this is just one that, honestly, I'm going to trust more people's input when it comes to like a certain book than a few random good reviews. So the next one, this author has already been on this list, and it really pains me because I do like this author for the majority, but it is The Lucky Ones by Kirsten Modulin, and this book is super short. Let me just tell you, if you want to read a book within one day, it is super short. Is it enjoyable? Absolutely not. I never thought I would say this, but this book was so quick that I didn't have time to really get to know the characters. Like, it just, like, I just never got those moments to really figure out who was who. Do I like this person? Who can I trust? It was moving so quickly that I could not keep up, to the point where I just didn't care who died, who survived, who did what. Like, absolutely not. But did I read it in one sitting? Yes, I did. I really did. But unfortunately, I could not care less about anything that happened in the book. Also, it was very over the top, unbelievable, to the point where I was just like, yeah, this would never happen. So, oh well. And lastly, my #1 book that I did not like this year. And I felt like there are some people that like this author, but I have no intentions on picking up anything else by this author, just solely based on this one. It is Unmissing by Minka Kent, I think is her name. And I read this one during my beach vlog vacation videos. I didn't really put a lot of clips of me reading this one, just because I did not like it, and I did not want to show my bad experience reading that book. But honestly, this book was just so unbelievable. I felt like there were so many like plot holes. Things weren't making sense. Things were just so over the top. I did not care about the woman coming back. I did not care about the husband, the wife, the freaking kids in this story. Like, I could not care less. And when you get to the plot twist, like, if I were to explain the plot twist, you would be like, ooh, that actually sounds good. No, no, it was so bad. I did not like this book at all. If you've read this one and you loved it, that is great. I would never wish bad intentions on someone finding something that they liked or loved, but I did not like this one at all. So yeah, those are the top 10 books that I did not like this year. Again, because I feel like I have to put this disclaimer out there. If you liked any of these books, or if you disagree with me in any way, shape, or form, again, you have your own opinion. I'm not here to spread negativity, but a lot of people want to know what my best and worst are, and this is my worst. Moving on, my next video will be the best books that I have read for 2023. So make sure you check out, subscribe, do all the things, show your support, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Hello, Ramona. I can't shake the simplest feeling beyond the ghost. We stand on the opposite shore. Hello, Ramona.